Praise the Lord.
Because he said, my soul doesn't have real joy in those that can sing real good, but they can't stand real good. God have mercy. I'm going to say that again. That was good. My soul doesn't really have joy with people who can sing real good, who can talk real good, but they can't stand real good. Man, that alone breaks me down. That alone makes me feel like, ouch. Because, can I be honest with you? There have been so many times in my life where I've drawn back, where I've gotten afraid, where I pulled back. But Hebrews 10 and 39, it's the intro into the Hall of Fame of Faith. We call it the Hall of Faith. It's the intro into Hebrews chapter 11. And the writer of Hebrews did something very, very interesting, very, very powerful. See, sometimes to really know who you are, you got to know where you come from and who you come from. That's why we go to family reunions. Look at somebody's and go OJ's on them and tell them, it's a family reunion. Hey, come on. It's a family reunion. Come on, say it. Let me hear you. Come on. It's a family reunion. Oh, come on, do the walk. Y'all ain't ready for the walk. Oh. The writer of Hebrews starts out, before he goes into the 11th chapter, the Hall of Faith, he begins to tell you what you're not. He says, we are not of those who draw back.
Thank you, Lord.
There's a story about Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, he was getting ready. You know the conqueror Alexander. Before he was 30 years old, he conquered the known world. He was a warrior. If anybody was a warrior, you're talking about testosterone running through his veins. He'd look at somebody and stare them down. And they would just, rulers would just be like, this little dude, 30 years old or less, comes in, takes over everything. He was known as a conqueror. He was so known as a conqueror that Daniel prophesied about him hundreds of years before he came and said, it's somebody from the north that's going to come and is going to tear it all up. And he was that person. He was better than Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan would tell people, I am the wrath of God. You must have been doing something wrong. I wouldn't come into your land. I'm taking it over because I am the wrath of God personified. That was the type of person that Alexander the Great was. And one particular day, at the face of battle, they were about to go into war. And there was this one little kid who was in the battle lines with them, but he was shaken and he was afraid and he was scared. And Alexander on his horse rode by and he smelled the fear. And he looked down at that boy and he said, son, what's your name? Out of all coincidences, the little boy's name was Alexander. When he told him, my name is Alexander, Alexander looked up and turned his head. And he turned back to him and he said, look, either change your name or change your position. What you gonna do? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you're made of? This is what the writer of Hebrew does in the 11th chapter. He starts out by saying, it's not a part of our DNA. It's not your makeup. You're not even made. You're not even created to draw back. That's not in you. That's not who are you to draw back? I'm looking out among people who I know you come from ethnic backgrounds, who you know your your culture. You know what you're about. And you know if you come up in your house acting some kind of way, your entire family will say, don't you know who you are? And this is what the writer of Hebrew does from a spiritual perspective, is he goes into telling these people, you are not even born with that. Where did you pick that up from? Not in this house. Look at somebody and say, not in this house, not in I Am Church, not in this house. We are not of those who draw back. It's not a part of us.
Yes.
My mama would tell me stuff like, you didn't get that in here, so you need to go back wherever you got that from and drop that out back over there and come back in here, because that's not a part of us. We are not of those. Oh, you need to say it. Somebody need to say it out loud. I am not of those that draw back.
Not of those who draw back.
Say it again. I'm not of those that draw back.
I'm not of those who draw back.
See, it's not even in my DNA.
It's not even my DNA.
Amen.
The godly DNA that was given to you, there is nothing in it that says you just draw back, that you just fold up, that you just fall and you just lose it.
Yes, yes.
And you give up. It's not a part of you.
Praise the
It's
Lord.
not a part of you. It's not a part of you.
Glory to God.
And the writer of Hebrews goes into the 11th chapter. Let's go into three things that we find that we are dauntless. And see, this to me is the beauty of the gospel, is because that when I get in God's presence, I come to find out who I am, and I become more of who he said I am than what the world said I am, what the devil said I am, even what I said I am.
Yeah.
So I become, help me out, dauntless.
Yes.
That means what I used to draw back to, today I don't draw back to that as much as I used to.
Yeah.
See, that's the good news, and that's the news for you. If you sitting here saying, but how can I ever get to that place? This process, baby. You keep on getting in God's presence. You keep on getting closer to him, and there are things that you let me see. Now, what I put last week in my post last week on Facebook, I said there are some things that God won't deliver you from. You just grow out of it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
You just grow out of it.
Good word.
See, I used to be so scared when I was a kid. I used to be so scared. Let me tell you what, let me open up something I used to hate. I used to hate when my mom would tell me to take out the trash. Because it was like, here's the backyard, but you got that whole backyard all the way to the alley to put the trash can all the way out there in the alley in the backyard, and you got these trees, and you got the wind blowing, and it's dark. And that was a whole long journey. It was only about 15, 30 feet. But in the mind of a child, that was like the journey. That was like going through the Netherlands. It was like going through the no man's land of the Lord of the Rings. It was going through the desert. I mean, it's like Sauron is going to step out at any moment. Some beast is going to come out. And as I was a kid, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I used to be so scared and I didn't want to take out the trash. And I figured out every reason not to take out trash, because the truth was I was scared. But the older I got, I just said, you know what? Even if it is something out there, it's going to be on. We're going to take out this trash because I'm tired. Wait a minute. I'm tired of this trash stinking up the house. I'm tired of having this trash in here. And now because the trash is in here, I can't get my allowance. I can't get my blessing because I'm dealing with the trash. When will I go on and be obedient and get rid of the trash? Message to somebody. When will I get rid of the trash? I'm just trying to deal with the trash. The truth of the matter is I'm scared to take it out. I'm scared of the monsters that would meet me in between. But as I grow up, I realize I don't need this trash. I don't even want it in me. What I realize, help me out, it's not a part of me. It's not what I was raised with. It's not a part of my DNA to just be living with trash.
Yeah.